This week on the Alpine Community Cup, racers will be visiting the tropical shores of Miami, Florida. With the track being situated just outside the Hard Rock Stadium, racers will be close to the Miami Dolphins training ground. Miami is the 11th different venue located in the US that's hosted a Grand Prix, with Las Vegas being added onto the calendar for later this year. Returning to another street circuit after the absolute carnage of Baku, will racers be able to keep it on the track and finish the race? With 3 DRS zones out of turn 9, between turns 16 and 17, and out of turn 19, racers will be making the most of their overtaking opportunities. This tricky circuit has 19 turns, 7 to the right and 12 to the left, with a difficult complex between turn 12 and 15. With Razin clinching victory last week, who will close the remaining winning positions here at the Alpine Community Cup?
Find someone else who is my absolute... I've made my decision. You know earlier how I said I didn't have a favourite?
Yep.
I'm a converted man. I've changed. I'm going to officially announce it after 11 weeks who my favourite racer is.
Who is it?
Will is Manu, our newcomer.
Nice.
My super fan. Well, I'm his super fan now. That's my favourite. I'm hoping he has a great race.
I do think Will did an amazing job, and Nathan is going to be very happy, of course, about that. But
so, you know, there are multiple ways to pick up those time penalties, but the corner cutting does seem to be the most effective. We see Willie's Manu go for a very aggressive move there on JJ.
But he has the inside for the next corner if he can just hold it out, but JJ's managed to get the traction and take that position from him, but, you know, he had so much space to really make a move there, and it's... This battle from P1 to P3 is going to be close throughout the entire thing. We can't forget about Matty. You know, Matty's gone in for the early pit stop. He's gone for the undercut. If he gets stuck in traffic, this could be race over for Matty. But if he manages to get these tyres into the correct window throughout the rest of this Grand Prix distance, he's going to be fine, as Willie's Manu, with that ERS and the DRS, makes it look so easy as he now goes into the braking zone. JJ Van Heffen looks to fight round the outside here. Who has more traction? As Will manages to hold this position, but into the second DRS zone just down here at the start-finish straight, will JJ manage to get this position back? As he looks to fight down into the turn 1 braking zone, but Will still seems to hold it as he gets forced off a bit wide and has the inside line for the next corner. And then JJ with the inside for the next in that quick left chicane. And he's taking that position back again.
What an incredible piece of racing from these two. That was beautiful to watch.
I was going to say exactly the same thing, Scott. That was really nice.
We hope we put on a show for you, that's for sure. As now, Willie's Manu has managed to take P1, as we've had a bit of a mare talking about what's going on at University here. As JJ looks to take that overtake on him down the main straight. It's such a close position as he takes the inside line for this corner, but he'll have the outside line for the next corner. So will he manage to take this position and force him wide enough? As Willie's Manu looks to hold it, but it's going to be so close as we then head into the stadium once again. Who's going to hold this position?
They're going... JJ manages to just eke him out there at the end.
Here at Staff's Unis, we now head back to another break, and you'll get to see our wonderful faces and how embarrassed I am at choking on my words there in the casting earlier. But the lineup, don't pay any attention to the lineup that you'll be seeing on your screens at this very moment in time. It does tend to have an issue when we have a crash in the systems and we head to the secondary observer point of view, where it doesn't show the exact standing. So we'll sit and talk about what's going on, but this, for all I know, could be AI simulating the real drivers. It could be anything. So we've got some racing on the screen that you've got to observe, but I don't know what racing it is. As we now see JJ, he's still holding on to P2, but looking to challenge Willie's Manu into this first sector of the Miami racetrack, as they then seem to head down to the second DRS straight of this track. It's so long, they carry so much speed throughout that section of the track. I think with how close he's following here, he's got a very, very good chance to make this overtake.
Yeah, he definitely does. The DRS is really going to assist with that, and it may not make it look easy, though, as we've seen with these races. The entire race so far, no matter which one of them has the advantage, both Willie's Manu and JJ Van Geffen, it's always a fight. Even if one of them has an advantage, it's always a fight. I mean, they're going wheel to wheel around pretty much every single corner.
Yeah, it is definitely very close, but we do have to remember that they I think most of our top racers at the moment up there do have to pit.
Exactly, I was about to make that comment, Charles, because Matty, as it currently stands, is best of the rest. He is the head of the pack for everyone that has pit so far. And if I do my maths correctly, he does have a large gap between those two drivers. It should be around 6 or 7 seconds when they decide to pit. They should look to kind of slot in around P7 mark when JJ looks to pit. But still, he's got such a big advantage that I don't know if they're going to manage to catch up on this. we don't know how the racing is looking. We don't know how it's going. So, guys, how do we think it's going to shape up? Who's your favourite racer so far, and how's it gone?
You know what? It's a rare occasion that me and Mr. Walker see eye to eye. But what a race from Willis Manu so far. Been absolutely incredible, as I'm sure we're probably going to see even more incredible racing from Willis Manu.
Yeah, definitely. I was also going to comment. I think mine would be for this race especially. I've loved watching Razin. I just like the chaos. I've got to be honest. It is quite fun to watch.
It's always a show. It's always a show with Razin, and that is what they said they were setting out to do. So.
As the Stig picks up some more time penalties, and there's the first blue flagged car coming through this stadium section so far. It's so close. I mean, Matty is now up to P4.
He has proved all of the haters wrong. It was a very bold strategy, but it's worked out very, very well for him.
As now we just see
more fighting.
Tossing between JJ and Will as the back marker of, I believe it's MM7 Games, gets involved in the action here. As you know, there's so much going on in this track right now, especially up at the front of the grid, that it's almost too much to talk about. I mean, they are squabbling almost every corner for traction, for position, for DRS.
Yep.
It's not stopped throughout the entire course of this race, whether it be with Matty or whether it be with Willis Manu. As Willis Manu, I've just, obviously we've got the fastest lap screen, and I was about to make the same comment, Scott.
Yeah.
He's nearly 1 second faster than the next fastest lap, which is JJ's, and, 2 seconds faster than almost anyone that's setting those 130. So he is making his best effort to make his way through the field and make up some positions as, he's made up another position up into P8.
He's going to be. He does get the position taken back off of him there by Jay Price, but he's not gonna give up anytime soon. Though we know this about Willis Manu now. We know just a very aggressive, very incredible with the overtakes, fakes people out so often. Forcing them out onto the outside line and just stealing the inside from them all the time, and that's what we're seeing a lot of.
He understands the size of his car as well, which is so important. As Mad Dog goes for a lunge down into one of these final corners, into the end of the DRS straight, as he manages to hold that position for now, but is he going to hold it into this second DRS zone, onto the start-finish straight and down into turn 1?
Yeah, that part in between 7th and 9th, they're all really close together in that DNS train.
Yeah, it's been a very well packed race. We're seeing the top 3 and 4 all together quite often. Then we're seeing 5 to 8 quite close together, and it's been a race of clusters almost, where you see people sort of attacking the same people for the entire race, and it's been very good to watch.
It has been a good watch, and like you said, Scott, there are these sorts of clusters, so we have a few at a time sort of thing.
We see some contact there between. Was that the Stig and Jay Price?
Jay Price. It's an interesting one.
Did not result in any damage by the looks of things, though. Both racers still have their front wings. I can't seem to see any other issues, so I think they may have just about gotten away with that.
I think the initial prediction that one of you made before we headed into this race, that there was going to be some tossing and turning for position, as we see it's Jay's Price pick up another time penalty.
Yeah, it definitely has. And going back to that front of the pack, Scott, with that P1, P2 and P3, we do know that Van Geffen has that time penalty, as we do see the overtake coming through.
Willis Manu absolutely stomping through things, as we know him to do.
And he's going to hold that position so easily because he's managed to gain so much time, as the other two continue to squabble behind him. But saffzo is so close to that 5-second time penalty of JJ.
Yeah, it's so hard to keep track of so many of these time penalties, how much everybody's got and everything like that. So when the grid is announced at the end, that's when we're going to start to see what this actually looks like. It's been absolutely crazy with JJ and saffzo here. This final fight is what will decide the podium. But then you've got to bear in mind the time penalty, and it's a rough one for Van Geffen here.
Yeah.
Oh, as Will threads the needle through those cars and heads down into the stadium section. This is where we've seen most of our overtaking so far in this race, and Will has absolutely made that work.
Beautiful.
Threading the needle through those two cars and keeping it safe, keeping it clean, and keeping it on going.
Finding that opening without doing any kind of super aggressive, unsafe driving was very, very impressive there from Will. I know for a fact we're going to be hearing about that highlight from Walker after the race, because that was an amazing piece of driving.
Definitely, as we do see our final leaderboard up here for now, with Van Geffen in that first spot, saffzo coming in at second, Slide Gang in third, Razin taking fourth, although we'll have a look at that one. Willow is Manu, Nathan's favourite, coming in at fifth, Mad Dog taking sixth, Matty D taking seventh, Jumpy Painter 420 taking 8th, Akavin is in 9th, The Stig 10th, It's J Price 11th, Andy Moore 12th, Verstappen 13th, and MM7 Games in 14th.
We unfortunately didn't get to see much of Andy Moore this week on the Kiwi Cup. He was kind of stuck in a race of his own towards the middle back of the grid. The DRS trains weren't so strong there. There was such a big gap pulled very, very early in that Grand Prix distance. But, it's been long, that's for sure. There was fighting at almost every single heavy braking zone, every DRS zone, and ERS management proved vital to those who managed to have it in the kind of middle to end stage of the race, because there were so many races left without ERS and without the battery power to keep going. Yeah,
it was very fun. It was very, very fun to watch, and the like you said, the ERS management became the most important part about the entire race. Like DRS obviously, gave some of the positions and everything, but the ERS management, especially through that sort of left, right, left chicane, it was very, very difficult to do properly without the help of that ERS, especially defending it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really was. I really enjoyed watching it. Some of the chaos we saw, but yeah, it was very fun, that one. But yeah, I was wondering who was your sort of driver of the day sort of thing?
It's got to be Will for me.
I'd agree. Will had some incredibly unfortunate luck getting held up in the pit box by his teammate, who he didn't even know was his teammate at the time. Will would have been on that podium for sure, maybe even winning the race if he wasn't held up there. He was so much faster than everyone else on the grid and was challenging JJ for so long in that race. But yeah, my vote's going with Will.
Unfortunately, that's just the way of racing.
Yeah, see, interestingly, I do think Will did an amazing job, and Nathan is going to be very happy, of course, about that. But yeah, I'd have to go for saffzo, actually. Coming back from the back of the grid, I thought, finishing in second there, had a really, really good and clean race once they were there.
I think saffzo is what I would go with if I wasn't to pick Will. I think that's a fair assessment. Mm-hmm. Saffzo had a very good race, taking up so many positions, fighting so well. Very, very good race.
But that's it from us for now on the casting desk. But I'm going to pass back to the wonderful hosting desk of Nathan Radenbecker. Guys, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Harvey. What a race. I think before, we really get into it, Radenbecker, my lovely co-host for this evening, we need to kind of just take a moment and breathe. I think that's what everyone really sort of needs, especially our casters there who they went on an adventure during that race. And I think a lot of our racers also went on adventures around Miami. I'm going to ask you guys, like Charles, Scott and Harvey said their driver of the day, I'm going to ask you lot who you think performed well.
I think it's got to be Willis Manu.
Oh. See, I tried to give that one to Nathan.
No, we can have similar votes. I will like to say, just to clarify, Will, it's okay. Listen, I've received the message, okay? I understand. It's not your fault. I'm still proud of you regardless. And for that reason, you're going to be my driver of the day regardless. You did that comeback that you did, and that move, especially that double overtake, threading the needle perfectly, I might add. That's my reason you're my driver of the day. You won in my heart, and that's what matters. And, I think everyone won this evening. All the viewers, everyone racing, us casting, our casters, us guys on the host desk, everyone's enjoyed this evening in Miami, and it's been a special one nonetheless.